Okay, the persons that's on Zoom, the person that has Samsung SMA14CU, would you please state your full name?
Jakia Johnson hyphen White.
Okay, okay. You could put your mic back on mute.
Okay.
Thank you. The next part, oh, that other person is still trying to connect. iPhone is connecting to audio. They still haven't connected. Okay, let's do this. Okay. Next case. First case is cause number 23CC 2210. Case to style the state of Texas versus Israel Josiah Hansen. Would you please come forward? The court is in session on today's date, May 1st, 2024, in County Court at Law number 2, with the announcement docket. Mr. Hansen, your full name is Israel Josiah Hansen.
Yes.
How are you doing, Mr. Hansen?
Doing pretty good.
That's good. Mr. Hansen, you're represented by your attorney, Attorney John West. Attorney West, how are you doing?
Good, Your Honor. Thank you.
That's good. And the state is represented by this attorney, Andrew Hubel. Attorney Hubel, how are you doing?
I'm here.
Oh, you're here. That's a good thing.
I should have said that.
Mr. West, what is your announcement in Mr. Hansen's
We'd like
case?
to be on the trial docket.
We set it for trial? Give us a trial date. June 10th. Okay, this case is set for June 10th, 2024. And Mr. West, you could get your reset from our court coordinator. Once you get your reset, you're free to go. And once you get your reset from your attorney, you're free to go as well. And you and your attorney, both of y'all have a blessed day.
Thanks, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
You're welcome. Oh, Mr. Wilkerson.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, how are you doing?
I'm doing better than I was, Judge.
Oh, that's good. Now, Mr. Wilkerson, your client is not here yet. So what we'll do is, I guess, just give him a little. We'll give him a little bit more time, and then if they don't show up, then we have to proceed to a bond forfeiture. In the meantime, if you want to try to contact them or to contact the bondsman, you can do that.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Oh, somebody's coming in the door. Oh, that's Miss Rinaldi. Mr. Boudreaux is not here.
Mr. Cujo was next to him. I know he's sitting.
Oh, yes?
He was sitting in County Court 3 when I walked through him. He's at least in the building.
incompetent,
Right.
so I don't know how they're gonna handle
That's in
that.
felony court. She's in felony court right now. She's gonna come down here after,
Yeah, she's in,
right,
Stevens Court right now,
okay.
and then there's one other one.
Well, this other case is Miss White. She is currently on Zoom.
Okay,
And so you're gonna come back and make your announcement on that?
well, I can, whatever you prefer, sir. I've got 4 cases altogether. One in number 3 and 3 in your court.
So you wanna go take care of that one and then come back and take care of these three?
Probably,
That might be the best way to handle it,
okay.
okay? All right. Now, Miss White, Johnson White,
Yes.
your attorney, he's present in court. He has to go next door to take care of another case, another matter, and then he's gonna come back over here and take care of your case and his other 2 cases.
Okay.
Okay? All right. So just keep your mic on mute, and we'll let you know when he comes back.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
person that's on Zoom that has laptops, iPhone 2, would you please take your mic off of mute and state your full name? Okay, the person that just zoomed in. It's his. He's still in there.
Okay, that makes,
Okay, please state your full name.
I'm sorry,
State your full name.
Krista Smith.
Okay, Ms. Smith, please put your mic on mute, and then when we call your case, you can take it off of mute. Thank you. Jefferson County Court, Law number 2 is back in session. The court is in session in cause number 23CCCR 0282. Case is style of State of Texas versus Krista Janae Smith. Ms. Smith is appearing via Zoom. Ms. Smith, you can take your mic off mute. How are you doing, Ms. Smith?
I've been better. I'm feeling a little under the weather today.
Okay, we'll be praying that you have a full and speedy recovery. And you're represented in your case by your attorney, Attorney Marcus Wilkerson. Attorney Wilkerson, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right, Judge. Despite the oxygen, I'm out of the hospital and doing better.
Well, that's a good thing. And we'll be praying that you have a full and speedy recovery as well. State is represented in this case by Attorney Haley Simmons. Attorney Simmons, how are you doing?
Okay, Judge, thank you.
That's good. Now, Mr. Wilkerson, what is your announcement in this case?
Your Honor, if we could get a 30-day reset on this, we did submit a letter regarding potential pretrial diversion, but if that is unsuccessful, we do have an offer from the state that we feel may resolve this case. And so if I can just get Ms. Smith to make an appointment with my office within the next week or so, once she gets to feeling a little better so we can review her discovery, that would be great.
Okay, she has your contact information. Ms. Smith, you have his contact information?
I do not. I can write it down right now.
Okay, hold on before you do that because we are live on YouTube, unless
Okay.
Mr. Wilkerson has a problem with that.
No, Your Honor. My office information should have been printed on her reset that she received when I
Right.
was appointed on her case, but I don't have a problem with her getting my office number live.
Okay. Are you ready, Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Okay, you can go ahead and give it to her.
409-212-9655.
Okay. And give him a 30-day reset. You're trying to get in the pretrial diversion program. We're gonna reset it second week in June because I think pretrial diversion is the first week in June. So we should know something hopefully by then. You can put it
Okay.
on a- Yeah, we need to increase our Wednesday dockets. Okay, this case will be reset to June 12th, 2024. Ms. Smith, your attorney, your bondsman will be given notice of your reset. Stay in contact with your attorney, your bondsman. Again, your reset date is June 12th, 2024 at 9 a.m. On that date, you need to be here in court in person. You're free to go and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Wilkerson, your reset will be sent to you. You're free to go as well and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. in session. The court is in session in cause number M 333-340. Case is styled -1. Case is styled the state of Texas versus Brian David Scott. Scott, would you please come forward?
Your Honor, on this case, the documents in the file didn't properly transfer from workflow to Odyssey. So we're gonna have to work on getting the audit sheet action please.
Mr. Scott, this is cause number M 333-340-1. Case is styled the state of Texas versus Brian David Scott. Mr. Scott, is that your full name?
Yes.
Scott, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Scott, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? Mr. Scott, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Scott?
Good.
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Scott, you're represented by your attorney, Langston Adams. Attorney Adams, how are you doing?
Doing well.
Mr. Adams, do you waive a record in Mr. Scott's case?
Yes, sir.
State is represented in this case by attorney Andrew Hubel. Again, Mr. Hubel, how are you doing?
Doing all right, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Scott, I have before me a document that is titled information. This information was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. In this information, it alleges that you, Brian David Scott, and Chris Lee Glassley, styled the defendant heretofore on or about August 25th of 2022. You were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense, the unlawful use of criminal instrument. Mr. Scott, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, no contest? Are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Scott, I also have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. You recognize this document?
Yes.
On page 2 of the same document, there are a set of initials on a line next to a box that's checked no contendere, which means no contest. Did you place your initials on this document? On page 3 of the same document, there is a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
On the next document that's titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant? At the top of this document is one box that's checked. The box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement? I also have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant? Mr. Scott, before you sign and initial these documents, did your attorney, Mr. Adams, go over these documents with you? And did you read and understand everything that Mr. Adams went over?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Mr. Scott, are you a citizen of the United States? State I have before me states 1. State, would you like to offer states exhibit number 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections?
None.
No objection. States exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Adams, you've advised in counsel. Mr. Scott, is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
None.
And Mr. Scott, your attorney, Mr. Adams, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation? Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation? Mr. Scott, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
For plea of no contest, the state is offered 50 days time served. Court calls Saxon retired in this case.
Okay, Mr. Scott, the state is offering that you serve 50 days in Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not be required to serve any more time in the Jefferson County Jail because you've already served 50 days in the Jefferson County Jail. Therefore, you'll be given credit for the time that you've already served. The court costs in this case will be taxed and retired. That simply means that you will not be required to pay the court costs because the time that you spent in jail has already paid it off. Therefore, the court costs will be taxed and retired. Mr. Scott, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Scott, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Scott, you're gonna stand in front of the court coordinator and you're gonna follow the directions of the bailiff once you finish following the directions of the bailiff, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay,
Appreciate
just
it.
please have a seat in that first chair.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Cool, would you please come forward? Do you speak English? Mr. Cool, your full name is Sten Not Cool?
Yeah,
How are you doing, Mr. Cool?
yeah, very good.
You doing very good. That's good. I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Cool, you're representing your case by your attorney. Attorney Reagan Minaldi. Attorney Minaldi, how are you doing?
Good, Judge. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. State is represented in this case by Mr. Erica Porter. Ms. Porter, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. How about you?
And Ms. Minaldi, what is your announcement in Mr. Cool's case?
Yes, Judge, I talked with, Ms. Porter about the offer that she gave Mr. Koo, but we have also had discussions about potential pretrial diversion. So I'm asking for a resetting so that I can get an application for pretrial diversion applied for Mr. Koo.
I think you just have to submit a letter. Huh? I don't think that's an
Yes.
application.
And this is also our first appearance, so I haven't had an opportunity to get that done.
Okay, give us a reset. The first, we're gonna put it in June, because June is the next, well, she probably not gonna get on that list. God. Because if we put it on, we just put it on June, second week in June. We'll see. I don't know. Yeah, that's fine. 2020, case is gonna be reset to June 12th, 2024. Give your attorney an opportunity to see if you can get into the pretrial diversion program. Your attorney is gonna get your reset. Once you get a copy of your reset from your attorney, you're free to go. Stay in contact with your attorney and your bondsman. And Ms. Minaldi, you can get your reset. And I think you have one more case.
I do. I'm working out the information from the pleas that they just entered into in felony court to see what we're doing here, but that should be resolved today.
Okay. All right. You can get your reset and then you can give it to Mr. Cool. He'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Judge.
All right.
Yeah.
This is cause number 23 CCCR 1758, case of Tyler State of Texas. Uh-oh, no, that wasn't. No, cause number 23 CCCR 1758, case of Tyler State of Texas versus Gregorio Humberto Flores III. Mr. Flores, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how are you doing, Mr. Flores? You doing good? That's good. Mr. Flores, you're representing your case by your attorney Dustin Galmore. Attorney Galmore, how are you doing?
Fantastic.
That's good. Now, Mr. Galmore, what is your announcement in Mr. Flores' case?
Judge, we're asking for another announcement. There's an associated case that we're trying to resolve all at the same time. And so if we would reset this for another announcement in about a month, I think we would be.
You said it's an associated case.
There's a sort of a co-defendant, with a different case that's not in this court. We're trying to get everything done around the same time.
It's being transferred over, like right now. So we're gonna try to.
What's being transferred
The
over?
other case that he's speaking on, she was present today. That defendant is present in CCC 3. So they're gonna transfer it over to CCC 2. And hopefully, after I watch the videos, we'll be able to resolve both of them on the next announcement.
That's correct.
Okay, give us 30 days. Okay, we'll reset to June 5th, 2024. Mr. Flores, your attorney is going to get your reset. Once you get your reset from your attorney, you're free to go. And stay in contact with your attorney and your advisor. And Mr. Flores, not Mr. Flores, Mr. Galmore. Once you get your reset, you're free to go and you have a blessed day.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
This and she asked for Brittany to come off the elevator. I was like, oh, Brittany right there. She's like, where? I said, she's right there. But don't get my whatever that means. Oh, I bet Brittany's trying. I think Brittany's probably, yeah, Mr. Ross. Well, can you email us on Lopez? Thing with the, went on here.
Okay.
Joel, is it?
Yeah.
I wanna be right around. 1-6. Oh, 1606. I wanna live in a big one house.
Jefferson County Court at law number 2 is back in session. The court is in session in 2 cases. First case is cause number 32 CCCR 0648 and cause number 23 CCCR 0649. Both cases are style of state of Texas versus Jordan R.D. McCracken. Mr. McCracken, is that your full name?
Yes,
How are you doing, Mr. McCracken?
pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, Mr. McCracken. You're representing your cases by your attorney, Attorney Willard Hall. Attorney Hall, how are you doing?
Doing great, Your Honor. Thank you for coming.
Mr. Hall, what is your announcements in Mr. McCracken's cases?
Your Honor, this is my first appearance here. I've spoken with Mr. Cracken. In fact, I just have been dealing with him over the phone. He's been working down in the Virgin Islands, and so this is the first time I've ever met him in person, and we've been over a few things. So I'd ask for a 2-month recess, if that's okay.
Man, have you received discovery?
Yes, sir.
You received an offer in the case?
Not yet.
Yeah, you haven't given him an offer?
Well, Your Honor, I'm going to discuss it with him. I don't like to get offers and negotiate a case until I have permission from my client. He just gave me permission to discuss it.
No, I mean, them giving you an offer don't have anything to do with, him giving you permission. I mean, discuss is one thing, but for them to actually give you one, I'm just asking if they sent one out.
I have an offer on the case, Your Honor. It just has not yet been conveyed.
Okay,
I'll speak with them, but, Your Honor, we have other cases in the office. This is the first time I've been down here, so we have been working on the case.
okay. Now, let me do this here.
It's a relatively new case.
I don't. Oh, I'm getting the wrong case. This is McCracken. Okay, proposed change. Okay. Okay, now you was just, we have your letter of representation, back in February. Now, Mr. Kraken, were you represented by somebody else for this? Plus, I see here you can't even notice. It was back in August. That was the bond conditions. That was back in August. You got judge's explanation. So this is your first court setting?
Yes, first time I've been here.
Okay. Now, on the next court date, at that time, you're gonna, I guess you would have
He
had
should
a chance
decide by
to.
that time whether or not she wants to try the case or accept my plea.
Okay, now you say, is he still working out of town or out of the country or where?
In the US Virgin Islands, St. Croix.
It's in the United States, but
Yeah, it's U.S. territory.
he doesn't drive in here. There's no place to go.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he would have to, he was required to have an interlock device
The judge told him if he didn't have a car or if he wouldn't.
on any vehicle that he own or operate. That's what the requirements are.
He and I discussed this and he said he was not operating.
Right.
Down there, there's no place to go. Everything's within walking distance.
He doesn't own a vehicle.
No.
And we can't,
Today,
he's out of the country.
Yeah, he had to run.
Oh, okay, you got that eight ammo, no weapons and stuff too. I was back in Hawks, okay. You have any objections? I'm, when he works out of the country, out of the mainland. US. Okay. Give us a reset day. You have any objections to the case being reset that long?
No objections, Your Honor.
Okay. Yeah, he lives, well, not lives, he lives and works in the Virgin Islands, so we're gonna give him a little bit more time. So give him, did he say 60 days? No, no more than 60. At that time, he needs to let us know whether or not he wants a trial or whether that's gonna be a plea. Okay,
Yes, sir. Will do.
okay,
June 26th.
June 26th. The case is reset to, both cases are reset to June 26th. Your attorney's gonna get your recess. Once you get your recess from your attorney, you're free to go and you have a blessed day.
Take it straight.
Okay,
Take care.
stay in contact with your attorney, your boss. Okay. It's on the wrong one. Okay, here we go. Jefferson County Court at number 2 is back in session. Court is in session and calls number 23 CCCR 2570 or 2570. Case is style of state of Texas versus Arturo Saavedra. Does he need an interpreter?
He does.
And will you interpret?
I will. Yes, sir.
Mr. Ross, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Rojas, do you swear to interpret Spanish to English and English to Spanish? So help you God.
I do.
You may put your hand down. Mr. Rojas, ask Mr. Saavedra if his full name is Arturo Alejandro Saavedra.
Yes.
Mr. Saavedra, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Saavedra, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
You may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Saavedra?
Good.
Good. Mr. Saavedra, you're represented in your case by your attorney, Charles Rojas. And Mr. Rojas, how are you doing?
Well, Judge. Thank you.
And Mr. Rojas, do you waive a record in Mr. Saavedra's case?
We do.
State is represented in this case by attorney Haley Simmons. Attorney Simmons, again, how are you doing?
I'm good, Judge. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Mr. Saavedra, I have before me a document that is titled Information Sheet. This information sheet was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. In this information sheet, it alleges that you, Arturo Alejandro Saavedra, on or about October 6th of 2023, that you committed to Class B misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated while you were operating a motor vehicle in a public place in Jefferson County. Do you understand what you have been charged with?
Yes, sir.
To this charge, how do you plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Saavedra, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 1 of this document, there's one box that's checked that states that this is driving while intoxicated first, which is a Class B misdemeanor, and the range of punishment is confinement in jail for at least 72 hours, but not to exceed 180 days, a fine not to exceed $2,000, or you could be given both such fine and confinement. Do you understand that punishment range?
Yes,
Also, on this document, there are a set of initials, AAS, that are below a paragraph titled Citizenship. I will read this paragraph to you. Well, it's a one sentence paragraph. It states, if you're not a U.S. citizen, a plea of guilty or nolo contendere may result in your deportation, exclusion from admission to the country, or denial of naturalization under federal law. Do you understand that sentence?
yes, sir.
And do you still want to go forward with your plea bargain? I mean, in this case?
Yes, sir.
Also, I have before me a document. Well, on the same document, there's a set of initials on page 2. The initials are on a line next to a box that says guilty. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of this document, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
On the next document that's titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir.
I also have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Saavedra, I also have another document that is titled English Statement 1 for all foreign nationals, except those from mandatory notification countries. And below the last sentence in the paragraph that states, do you want us to notify your consular officers at this time? The word no is circled. Did you circle no on this document?
Yes,
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
yes, sir.
Now, before you sign this document, before you sign all of these documents that I just showed you, did your attorney go over these documents with you in Spanish?
Yes, sir.
And did you understand everything that your attorney went over?
Yes,
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
yes,
Mr. Rojas, you have advised and counseled Mr. Saavedra. Did you advise him of his rights and the consequences of him pleading guilty or no contest to these charges, and that's pursuant to the case of Padilla versus Kentucky?
I did, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, Mr. Saavedra, I ask you again, is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. Saavedra, are you a citizen of the United States?
No.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, would you like to offer State's Exhibit number 1 into evidence?
Yes, Your Honor.
No objection.
No objection. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted into evidence. Mr. Rojas, you have advised and counseled Mr. Saavedra. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
And Mr. Saavedra, your attorney, Mr. Rojas, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Saavedra, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
In exchange for defendant's plea of guilty, the state's offering 90 days prorated over 1 year, $750 fine and 60 hours community service with court costs and DWI education.
What is this court cost? Okay, what's the one quarter point fee, 250? Calculate, I'm not gonna find it on the page.
Business order still, but we had the offer. And we want to write it out there. Yeah, we want to.
Okay, Mr. Saavedra, the state is offering that you serve 90 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not be required to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail on this case because you'll be placed on probation for 1 month, for 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you will be required to pay a fine of $750. You will also be required to pay a DPS fine of $100. You'll be required to pay court costs of $392. You'll be required to pay a probation fee of $60 a month. You'll be required to pay a urinalysis fee of $15 a month. You'll be required to reimburse Jefferson County DWI education. Or you'll be required to reimburse Jefferson County $15 for reimbursement fee. You will also be required to reimburse Jefferson County court-appointed attorney's fee of $250. You also be required to pay $125 for the DWI education and initial evaluation fee. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Your total monthly installments, that is the total amount that you will be required to pay each month while you are on probation, is $219 a month. Will you be able to pay the $219 each month? You will? Okay. Now, you'll also be required to perform 60 hours of community service. You'll be required to attend and complete a DWI education class. You'll be required to have a drug and alcohol assessment. And you'll be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of probation. Mr. Saavedra, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes.
Mr. Saavedra, I will follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Saavedra, this will conclude your case. You will stand in front of the court coordinator, follow the directions of the bailiff, and once you finish following the directions of the bailiff, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Rojas, you'll be free to go as well, and you have a blessed day. You're welcome. Okay. Next case is cause number 23CCCR 0280. Case is styled in the state of Texas versus Jakia Johnson White. Mr. Boudreaux, would you please come forward? Okay, Mr. Boudreaux, your client, Ms. Jakia. Ms. Johnson White, your first name is spelled, is pronounced Jakia?
Jakia,
Okay. And Ms. Johnson White, how are you doing?
I'm a little under the weather today.
Okay, well, we be praying that you have a full and speedy recovery. Now, Ms. Johnson White, you're represented in your case by your attorney, Attorney Donald Boudreaux. Attorney Boudreaux, how are you doing?
Just fine, sir.
Okay, now, Mr. Boudreaux, what is your announcement in Ms. Johnson White's case?
Your Honor, I haven't completed all the discovery. So I would ask for a one-time reset of
Okay.
about 30 days.
Okay, we're gonna reset his case for 30 days. That's Johnson White. At that time, you come in and you can announce whether or not you want a trial or a plea. And Ms. White, Johnson White, you need to be here in court on that day in
Okay.
person. On June 5th.
June 5th?
June 5th of 2024. Okay, you need to be here in person.
Okay.
Okay, now, Ms. Johnson White, stay in contact with your attorney and your bondsman. You're free to go, and you have a blessed day. They will be given notice of your reset day.
All righty.
All right? And the next case is Kiona Ozan, cause numbers 23CCCR 1530 and cause number 23CCCR 1531. And Ms. Ozan, now you're representing your case by your attorney, Mr. Don Boudreaux, and Mr. Boudreaux, pursuant to Article 1.24 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, all trials and proceedings shall be public. However, pursuant to the case of Lilly versus State, 365 Southwest 3rd, 321, the right to a public trial is not absolute and may be outweighed by other competing interests, such as the interest of security, the non-disclosure of public information and that the defendant receives a fair trial. Now, Mr. Boudreaux, I would imagine that during this proceeding, some information is going to come out, and that information is non-public. And would you like to request that this hearing be closed to the public for the non-disclosure of that information, non-public information?
Judge, may I show you this?
Yes, I know.
This is what, Judge Stevens reset it for.
Okay. But my question to you, would you like this portion of the hearing just closed to the public? We on YouTube right now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the court finds that the party advancing this request is asserting an interest that is prejudicial to his client in that it will be reveal non-public information or disclose non-public information. And the court finds that this request is no broader than necessary to protect Ms. Ozan's interests. The court has considered other reasonable alternatives, and the court make these findings, and these findings are adequate for the closing of this hearing. So at this time, this portion of the hearing will be closed to the